Hey guys, it's Chris and welcome back to Something Else Amiga. Amiga, it's a Lian Li case. This is the Lian Li Evo full tower. This is a custom case that I had commissioned from Reynolds Case Clinic in the wonderful nation of Hungary. You may have seen some Facebook updates from him a while back. It's been a couple months in the making, and this was my idea for the purple Amiga 4000 motherboard with the Z-Turn 3660. And we're going to crack into this. I've seen photos of it, but it just arrived courtesy of the United States beat-em-up service, and I hope to God it's okay, because this is the world's most expensive custom case with shipping. 35 or 40 US pounds, whatever that is in the metrics.
That would be 18.14 kilograms.
So, she's a heavy pickle. This is laser cut steel, blued, sanded, polished, I don't know. Maybe I can use this as a letter opener. So here she is. I'm thinking, wow, that's cool. It's a PC case, right? With some window. It's much more. Custom Amiga badging says Amiga 4000T by Reynolds Case Clinic. Inside is a custom made board to house an Amiga 4000 with, it's heavy, a custom rear metal powder coated white. I got this in white for a reason. Riveted panel with mouse and joystick extensions. The made custom panel with a snap out in case I go mediator. We could flip flopper. So this is designed for the Amiga 4000 desktop with a riser. This board is going to look dinky in here, and that's the idea. All the screws and all the goodies for the drive trays, the rails, white vent dudes that go in here. I'll show you a photo of what this case looks like as a Windows machine. And you can compare. But we have drive rails, 2 drive rails, and the power supply. And you're thinking, wow, that's really neat. Oh, God. What makes this so special? Lian Li has this thing called a Unifan. Now, the idea was this side of the Unifan was going to be LCD. But I don't know about the length of this board. It's going to block that. But we still have the bottom one here and the top. Now, I know it's stupid, but it's kind of a neat idea. The Lian Li water block LCD fans, they have little little computer screens on them that can display MPEGs, movies, photos, rando bits, stuff like that. All the cables and mess will go back here. Drives, everything. With the Z-Turn, I don't really need that, but we can run our cards underneath and around and through. E-ATX power supply. I'm going to go get a white one if I can, or I'll spray one. The motherboard has, as you know, the E-ATX input on the riser, so that'll go up over here and straight in. Power button, so I can actually turn the freaking thing on. Okay, glass. Okay, that's why it's so heavy. It's glass. The idea is these, I'll probably see if I can run them down and give them the tile and tuck right under here. That's metal. I thought that was plastic. All metal. Wow. So this normally is opened up for a PC motherboard. This case was custom drilled, screwed in to the mount holes of the case itself to allow an Amiga motherboard to fit in here. They give you all brand new screws. A lot of money for a case, a lot of money in shipping. 250 monies of Europe in metal work, powder coat, all sorts of stuff. My main problem was the case is so big, so heavy, and so expensive is why this is labeled as the world's most expensive Amiga case. So living under mothballs for several months is this. This is the purple 4000 Z-Turn motherboard with its riser, which I'm going to remove carefully. So this is going to sit in here like so, and see, there's no, oh, we got some issues. There's no front mounting screws, and I will have to take off my top screw dudes. I'm having some alignment issues. This plate's missing a rivet right here, so it's pulling the board down. It's just a little bit off. I can't get some of these started. They're like a millimeter off. I can't get all the screws in. It's like if I move this, it pulls these high. I'm not the F with this. It's me a little, oh, these are already out. Custom problems. Yeah, so I have a little bit of wideness on this cut, or it's too low. 4,000 board is in. We're all the way down just to get it to mount, okay? These fit fine. This fits fine, fits fine, fits fine. This doesn't. This cut should be a little reduced. It's the same as this height, well, a little greater actually. You can see this 25 is just a little different. All three front screws are not there. Does this look less room up here and then more room down here? I think it does. Which is why this is shoved so far in and this is sticking out. The whole thing is crooked. Maybe it's my eyeballs, but I doubt it because I can physically see the board like this. And the holes, that's how the holes lined up. So I think we're drilled a little bit off. The top screw hole right here. This one. I'm going to line up. There you go. I'm just going to slide the camera over, not moving. That one's off. That one's off. That one's off. That one off. That one's on. These three don't exist on this side. That's a little bit of frustration. You're thinking, man, that's no big deal, Chris. It's not really a big deal. I paid a tremendous amount of money for this case. Mainly for the case. I mean, I'm talking stupid levels of stupidity. The case alone was €300. Then I had €250 worth of metal work done. Right? Custom. And then shipping from Hungary to the United States with the 22 kilogram package. This should be absolutely perfect. Absolutely tested perfect. Not wallered out screws. This shouldn't have been this way. What I'll do is I'll reach out to Reynolds Case Clinic. This hole is so wallered out. It's bigger than this piece is, and it's just, there you go. A little bit of wiggle room. Can you adjust it? Maybe these can be wiggled enough. By loosening up all of the back bolts, I can waller these around enough to get the screws in. However, it's missing a rivet down here, so the bottom keeps popping out, which is causing shift on the board, which is still crooked. And it's missing three of the back screw holes. Problem is, the ports are all shoved in at the top and they're sticking out at the bottom because the whole thing is twisted. Let's step away for a minute. I messaged Mr. Reynolds Case Clinic and said, hey, I've loosened this thing up. I've tried my best to twist it. The mounting plate is it's an angle, it's drilled wrong. He goes, loosen the things up, which I did. And he says, hi, I think the holes can be different on motherboards. Because I got 3 motherboards I use for marking the spacers. And I realize these holes can have various positions there. I make them slightly bigger so the spacers can be adjusted. Use plastic spacer clips at the back plate. But I can't get one in there because it's not that your holes are not movable. They're drilled like that. So I can't, even with it, I don't know how to explain this. You guys get it, right? Even if I open this hole up, it only goes so much. It's a millimeter or two of adjustment. It's not, there you go, there's your adjustment. Do you see a difference? No! It puts it from super crooked to crooked. And then he says the mounting plate is a bigger as I count on using the option of a daughter board, which can be parallel to the motherboard. And they can be various sizes. So the locking holes are designed to be in different positions for RBM and micronic. The top of the case was made when I made a micronic based on my micronic, and it had the slots 0.5 millimeter away from the ones I have on my RBM and mediator. So I don't know what that means for me. I have a crooked drilled plate that adjustments don't go. They don't go far enough because it doesn't. I'm just letting you all know there was an issue, and the resolution was to adjust the things that I'm already adjusting. Loosen them up so they wallow around like that. They're almost falling off. Yeah, that's what I've done. So anyway, I was basically said, that's what I do. That's what he did, and even though this is drilled that way, that's not how he drilled it, and it's drilled correctly. Okay, I'll show you. And 40. So this is 0.2 millimeters. So 40. I'm trying to squish this down. 90. That's a big difference in where your hole is. So it's crooked. Wouldn't that be crooked to me? Not. You have a template and you drill the holes, and that's what you do. Not here's how we'll do it. Here, I'll fix it. I'll make it right. He has a template, and that's what he used, and that was his answer. I understand what you're saying, but they are physically not straight. I understand for a hole that you can move around, but these are drilled crooked. Look. Okay, so there we go. I just sent some photos of the micrometer measurements. So if I drill these out, I can't exceed this little bolt size, because that's all that's holding her on a hope and a prayer. And she's already at her maximum tooth. That's already at the max. So Jonathan says that's like 2 inches. He thought all these lines were millimeters. They're 0.2 millimeters. So you have to move like 24681, 246. So yeah, it was about a millimeter to 1.5 to 2 millimeters crooked. I'm documenting this all on video for everyone to see. While I appreciate the hard work for 600 euros shipped, you think it would have been taken care of. Oh, and I just sent that to him as I'm talking to you. And then I have to edit this video into something that looks positive. I know what happened. I know exactly what happened. There's no rivet here, right? So when he mounted the plate, you notice something that's happening? Drill it, put it in. Oh, I mount my motherboard. Yeah, that's a little bit crooked, but when you push this up, all the screws don't fit no more. But here, they fit. And when you look at the board, it's crooked. But if you push the board back in, I gotta hold it in there. You push this plate back in, it's straight. When you drilled it, it was like this. This is a test junk board, by the way. So Mr. Reynolds Case Clinic says, well, looks like it is drilled crooked. It really bothers me now, as in my thinking I made a rather basic mistake which I could easily avoid. I don't know how did I not recognize this issue, especially since it can be fixed easily. The metal works outstanding. The powder coat, outstanding. Everything's perfect except for that plate. How do I take a photo of that? So there was a drilling mistake. That's all. He admitted it. He says, I'm sorry. It can be fixed easily. And I said, how's that? So the vibration, oh my god. So the vibration has knocked all of these out onto the floor. You could just get in the hole, sir. I'm going to take a marker. And mark. Just a line so I can know. I'm going to write on here, that way I can, I'll wipe it off when I'm done. Shouldn't have to do this, but there. Now I can tell if I get goofy and it goes up or down. So this hole needs to come to the right. This hole needs to go that way. This hole needs to go that way. This one's fine. This one had to go down and that one had to go up. I need to drill here, drill here, drill here. These are mounting screws to mount it on the case. That's the only one that was good. Okay, 2 hours later, this is in. All the adjustments have been made. Everything is tight. I pulled out the powder coated drive cover thing so I could put the top and bottom screws in that I don't have. Now I'm going to put the motherboard in. The audio is being pushed to the bottom. It's not long enough. If it's up, it pushes the case out. Push it in, it F's up my entire motherboard. All my holes are now off. There we go. We just bent the white audio connector to compensate for the F up in the rear case. I'm going to Dremel this case. I'm not bending the shit out of my audio connector. It's going to ruin it. It's already ruined. Okay, I'm just going to open this audio connector up. Smell a burning powder coat coming off in your hands. Just tuck that over while it's hot. I already wrote an M and a J. This gets the tile and tuck around the power supplies, dude. So we've basically retapped or elongated our screw holes, ground out our audio port, added the back screws, found riser pegs for them. Now we're going for board assembly. Make sure your hands are clean. Just hold on loosely. Don't let it go. Okay, that's all the original screws. We're in, we're level. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I didn't put the center one in here. You can't see that. Cables over the top. They're going to plug in here. I'll do tuck, tuck, fold after I'm done. So that puts the keyboard and mouse back here. We're going to do a double-sided tape together and kind of give it the tile and tuck right here. I have to put Zorro cards in here. But before I do that, I have to put this back in, which was drilled and bolted. Now this is also flippable for Mediator, which is cool. Thank you for that. The thing is, I can't put screws in here. Alright. So I can't lock my cards in place because I can't get a screwdriver to put the screw in. But this is not these. This is not what this came with. So these won't fit because if I put a card in here, custom case, custom problems, the bottom slot is covered by this piece of metal. This should have been cut down way more, really thin right here, just a little bit more. I wanted the white power supply to match, so we'll just have a black power supply for now. Mr. Reynolds says, I've learned one very important thing again. The bad thing for me is it was happening after I sent you the case. The definitive problem is my rush, albeit you've been patient on my work, but I did not want to keep you waiting and having your case for a few more weeks. Can't believe the problem I've caused. I'm on it all the time to be a cautious and give check to avoid issues like this. Custom case, custom problems. I'm able to sort it out, minus the RTG slot. I am going to have to cut this wonderful steel, powder coated too, somehow. So it's all going to melt off. Also screw access, maybe cut out the bottom so you can get a screwdriver underneath. I don't know these things. It is not really helping you directly for sure, but now I've found out that I will create a checklist for each and every points of a build, so nothing I miss when working on a project. It sucks. It sucks. It does suck. At least I was able to mount the board. Does it work? I don't know. We haven't even got to that point yet because I'm still trying to find the power switch. Tonight's interrupter is Mr. Thomas Andrews. Fixed a 3000 tower, had a bad Gary socket. I got a 3000 tower motherboard that is slap ass broke. This needs to be supported. Once I get a card in here of some sort, I can screw it in with a thumb screw and that'll hold this steady. But this will go to here like this. This plugs into fail. This beautiful girl will go here. Well, I'm back from the store. I tried to find purple wire, but I found purple Doritos. So I needed 2 feet of wire. So I bought 400. I don't know. It's got some colors. Hi, it's another day. I got some good news. I got this thing rigged up enough where it's straight. The board is in. I drilled the holes in the back. Conversed with several times with Mr. Reynolds Case Clinic. This is not what I paid for. And he's like, good, I want to fix it. But then I looked at the price. It's like $200 to ship. Even without the glass, it's still very heavy. That's stripping it down to the bare, just the frame. That risks being bent, you know. And I just don't have the money for it after dumping all this. I had to save for 2 months to do this. But anyway, enough of that chatter. My corrections are, there's a thin purple wire right here. You can barely see. It's tension for the cable. The Strimer. Whoops. The Strimer is tension for the cable. Tonight's interrupter is brought to us by, it's Kevin. He had to borrow a food processor. I don't know. Look, I get everything, okay? You made tonight's interrupter of the day. I also went to put in some cards here for stability, and they don't fit because they're too long. Length, girth. This needs to be remade. I could 3D print some pull, and then the graphic slot's covered. There's just some technical issues that were not planned out accordingly for this case. Does that mean all of the cases are like this? I don't know. I love this case, and I'm pleased that it was able to be converted. Minus the Amiga cutout here, and the powder coating, and this little spare piece of Amiga stuff with the newer logo. I mean, is that worth all that metal work money? The majority of it was shipping and this case. So I don't know. You do you. I do like the Boing Ball badge, but I didn't need the branding of the company on it. This is not a car. However, we'll leave it at that. I got this working on a power button, thanks to Mr. Kavanaugh's. So we got the power switch working. I got the power light. I got the power switch, and I can just press the button and the Strimer comes on. The purple lights here come on. The board boots. It works fine. It is screwed in everywhere. This plate is not the firmest girl. Missing a couple mount points. A screw wasn't drilled, so it's missing a kind of a holding screw right here. This could have been trimmed closer. My fan kit, I'm going to have to cut this myself, which means I'm going to have to take this all apart. Just trying to make sure it works, and it is what I want. She's booted back there. To turn it off, just press a button and she's off. No F's given. And this is turning into the world's most expensive Amiga case. But it's going to be badass. It's going to be cool. There's the support issue of the Zorro slot being weighted, hence a wire, and the Strimer is its counterweight. I put a bolt through it. Now through the glass you'll see there's a bolt with a nut on the other blank E-ATX feed running up to the mounting point of the motherboard behind it. It does a little Thailand tuck. Tied it, she's taut. and good to go there. I have to clean up the markers where I had to align the measurements for that. I said I don't see how this can be classified as an Amiga converted case when everything so far is not fit or had a problem. You do realize how much money I have spent on this. I'm half tempted to send this back to you and request a refund via PayPal because I paid for it with PayPal credit because I'm broke and that's how I got to do things. He goes, send the case back. I will rewise and fix everything you encountered. I wanted to finish it off way earlier than it should have to be as I did not want to delay with weeks because of my lack of time. I will fix both the back plate and the mounting plate. Does that make sense? If so, please remove every side elements to get it as light as possible. I hate it when I fail in anything I work on. Don't let it to happen, especially in a project like this. We're both Amiga enthusiasts, so I believe you know what I mean. I said I would, but it's too expensive for me to ship. Because it won't be as heavy without the glass. It's only 2 pieces, not that much. And as I said, I don't want you left alone, but to do an acceptable job. I blame myself for that. It does matter, but I had loads of issues since the last few weeks, but wanted to keep up to all the issues. It doesn't mean that I'd ignore my mistakes, because this is a one-man show. I have to do things well. This is truly embarrassing that it has caused so many issues for you now, which I really did not want to happen. I said, well, I'm just tapped out on money from this. I have to see how much shipping it is stripped. Because I know the original case was expensive. Then the shipping cost, that can't be avoided. This project is on an insane level. I feel that you can believe, and I completely understand for you to be disappointed. But he does want to fix it. I just can't afford to ship it back again to Hungary, and it was to something from. That's like a lot of money in shipping. So I'm going to have to eat this issue. So thank you for that. And the rivet job, great on that. Back plane, I'll have to do send, cut, send, and get some measurements myself and just send it out to them and have them cut it, laser cut it, and I'll spray it white. As far as something else, I have to look into a riser bar. Amiga 4000s have a bar that runs across. I can't do nothing because of the glass. But I was thinking of a purple bar that runs down into what will be a fan tray and chop it in half. Or some other L bracket on the top and an L that will clip like the 3000 has the clip over the center board. Something in that nature. Strimer is the name for the LED covered 24 ATX. There's a standard 24 ATX power supply that this plugs into up here, and it has like a little RGB controlled extension. That's all. Hi, welcome back to the world's most expensive Amiga 4000. How are you going to do something today? Like with today's purchase, I'm at $1,000. So, and that's just case stuff. Amiga 4000 board and the Z-Turn, that was a gift from Kavanaugh's and Jonathan, and I thank you so much for gracious help and donations, and this is going to be the best. And that's why I did this. To honor not only the 4000, but to make the most coolest, beautifulest thing ever. Now, there's some issues with the riser slot not being supported. There's issues with the card holder not being close enough or long enough. There's issues with the board mount that was crooked and isn't cut out exact. So my plan for today may be a little screwed up and I might have to go on the bottom. I went to Micro Center and spent $149 on 3 Lian Li Unifan LCDs. These have little computer screens in them that can display MPEG. 1.6 LCD screen with 400 by 400 resolution that supports GIF, MP4, JPEG, or PNG files. Infinity mirror, liquid bearings, and magic sauce. Has a controller built in. I also got the official Lian Li, because Lian Li, Strimer V2. What is a Strimer? It's a lighted ATX power extension. $8.99 for the RGB 30 little tiny pinheader dudes. And while I was there, I needed some 90 degrees for Berg connections on repairs. All of this has been funded by me. The patron help is only used for parts, Then I eBay replacement chips and supplies and paper towels and alcohol and solder and tips and tape and box stuff and packing material, that kind of stuff. So, hi, welcome back to another day. What am I doing? This is going to be weird. This is Windows 11 on a Raspberry Pi, and it was a mofo to build. You had to use all this crazy stuff and Linux and a bunch of stuff, and the Amiga 4000T here, the custom job, world's most expensive Amiga, has a bunch of controllers from Lian Li. The RGB fans, the lighting, the Strimers, and of course eventually a water block for the 060. Because I'm just weird and I want to do it. You have to have Windows 11 or 10 to control these things for the inputs. And they're USB, except they're that kind of USB. So I bought this to this, like a plug thing where I can plug these into, the male kind, stick out, and then I get 2 USB ports, regular ones, that are going to go in the Pi. That way the Pi, once 11's on it, can run the Lian Li software that only runs on 10 or 11 and control it. Now, I also need to power this thing. How are you going to power this without having all these cables? I bought a DC to DC buck converter. Actually, it takes DC voltage off a Berg or a Molex and converts it into 5 volt, whatever amp, up to 15 for the Raspberry Pi 5. Pretty cool, huh? That's the game plan. Hey crap, it's 8:41. That took forever. I'm going to unplug this thumb drive, turn the Amiga on, or the ability to turn it on. So we'll turn this on. That'll be a rainbow. Alright? Moving rainbow because it's got power. Now we're going to launch the Lian Li Connect. We're going to go with purple. That's blue. Purple. All across the board. Want it all. That's great. You can go direction like I want to go into the power. Turn the brightness down a tick. Minimize to the connect. Display a floating information window. No. No, I don't need the float. I don't need you. Get out of here. No. Device. Strimer Plus. Update. Current. Well, it can't check, so it doesn't matter. And there you go. Quit. Sweet. So I'm going to shut this down properly. Unplug the keyboard and mouse. I don't need them. All I will need is this. And this will be powered by the adapter when I get the DC to DC converter. And it's so small, it'll just fit in here and you'll be good. But Chris, the Pi is off. I know. Now it pauses because it doesn't have any connection. Once it gets connection, it'll start up again. Rainbow. Alright. Theory of sound. Pi is okay. I gotta get it out of this case because this thing is an utter wreck for heat. It's just crap. I ran Pi Amiga on it when I first got the Pi 5 to get the Pi 5 version running, and then I noticed it's so incredibly hot. So I bought an eBay, Amazon, super duper, air cooled, big fan case. So I have 2 of these Raspberry Pi fans, which work extremely well, in there. I need to image this card. In their boxes. This piece of crap just sits in here via pressure and a prayer with some. That's the case. What a piece of junk. So hot, it's not funny. Aluminum, but it's not. It's like pot metal. The worst crap ever. So I'm gonna take its little thing, stick this over that chip. It gets borking hot, and we're gonna put the Raspberry Pi fan back on. Still in its box. I did use it. It's like it's never been used, but I keep all my boxes because you never know. It's even got its pad, so we'll take you off and you can have your pad back. Can you plug in there, sir? Plug in. One, two. It's got that little damn connector. It's so tiny. Now I gotta 3D print something just for the bottom so it can stick in here. Maybe screw in. Maybe I'll screw it into the side here and it can just hang. I don't know where I'm putting it. Make some kind of, I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'm gonna image this card again. But you never know. And I can also up its card size to something a lot faster. I don't need an NVMe. I don't need an SSD. It's strictly to run the L-Connect. Interesting. It can't see the disk. Oh, there it goes. Alright, so we're going to do drive J, Win32 disk imager. It's slow as dirt. It's 8:53 p.m. We're going to go to drive D. All files. Windows 11 ARM. All done. IMG. And our drive is J. Read. An error attempting to lock the volume. Great. Win32 disk imager. Okay, so it's F. It's got a UEFI partition. And we'll say read on that. Let's see if it can read it now. Just trying to lock the disk, which it can't. There it goes. There's the second partition, and 100 megs per second. But it's a 64 gig card. It'll take a while. I'll check back. But the theory is sound. You get it, right? You got it. That took forever. It took 5 hours to do that for controlling a fan. Hi, day 75 on this thing. What do we got? So as you can hear upstairs, carpet's dirty again. What do we have today? Well, the Amazon order came in. Now I still have to figure out a mounting kit for the Pi. Maybe I'll just screw it in with some mounts like this and leave her wide open. I'll use the bottom of this case with the fan. That way it's plastic. Purple floral wire. Purple floral wire. To replace this little cable. This is shielded. I'm not touching anything anyway. It's going here to a screw. This takes DC voltage of 12 volt or 24 volt. Outputs 5 volt, 5 amp max. 25 watts. That's good enough for a Pi. Next in the list is the cable from EN937 from the Lord of Converters on Amazon. It's got the male USB dude that'll plug in, give me 2 USBs right into the Pi. Got 4. That's epic. And then I ordered some backplane things like HDMI for the card, 12-inch. I don't know if it's going to fit. 0.3 metrics. And then I also ordered USBs for the thylacine card. And finally, another fan controller from Tummaster, and it can control with a remote, and it was white. Here's what it looks like. So you get this end and that end. These are going to go into the 12 volt on the Berg. I'll put a pin on there, and that'll just plug right into the Pi. Beep, and we got power. Okay, sorry about that. So, I wired in the plugs. I need a keyboard and a mouse to do this, so I don't have that now. But the fan should come on, and the Pi should boot when I press this button. Pi is booting. HDMI on the monitor is connected. Amiga is booting. Fans came on and went off because PWM. There's the RGB on the fans, and there's the fans coming on. They're going off and coming on. I don't know why. Is there a voltage problem? LCD fans are coming on. Fans are working. LCDs are working. Strimer's booting. The Strimer should, once Windows loads, go normal. We'll see the purple as soon as it logs me in. This is all going to be hidden. At least the Pi thing is working. So my wires aren't exposed. Pi's still loading because it's the fastest machine on Earth. At least the RGB is working. I can set the flow to match that. When it finally loads, I'm going to just rotate this around a little bit so we can see it a little better. So this is the case light. LCD fans. That's going. That worked. Cool. I'm going to just use a mouse on the Pi. Alright, group fan. We want to do no rainbow. We're going to do meteor. We're going to set the colors to purple, all of them, and hit apply. And there it is. You can see the chaser going in purple. And because they're all connected, it knows what to do, and this is controlled by here. I can get even further. I can control each individual fan if I wanted to, but I'm not. Dr. Chris and the Great Restoration on one fan. And then I click another fan, middle fan, and I add a photo, upload a photo. Miss Croatia, you need her on there. There she is in the middle, and I can rotate her so Miss Croatia, move this case. Miss Croatia is upside down. She's in the middle here. Now watch. I'll just flip her. I can have her facing forward. I'm going to face them all this way eventually. Fried chicken. We got to have fried chicken in there. Save that. Save that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut Windows down. I have a lot of stuff to figure out and mount and wire and zip tie and buck convert. This little thing doesn't even get hot. Screw all these things in, hide them in the cable management racks, fan controllers, hot glue the wires just to be on the safe side, and tidy things up. 7:56 p.m. I've spent the better part of 3 hours wiring this thing together. What do we have? We have a magnetic plug, dude. Up. Yep, it's up there. That's the Strimer control box, wires and things, Raspberry Pi, buck converter for the Raspberry Pi, LCD fan controller is underneath the power supply, and this is on a sticky pad. Power runs back, down, around. All of this tile and tuck, zip tie, montage will be hidden. There we go. Looks a lot cleaner, huh? I haven't tested this yet. I don't know if it works. And then I realized in my OCD that I ran this cable over the top instead of underneath. Hi, here's an update from several days later after the Strimer and the LCD fans. I've decided I don't like this plate. It's too long. Even if I cut the metal, it's not working out. The back, fine. The only cables for the Amiga are this and these two. The card slot doesn't fit and it doesn't attach well. And I know the creator offered to fix it, and even offered to pay for the shipping. It's just too heavy. I can't risk it being damaged at the expense I already have into it. So I'm going to go buy a plexiglass plate, a piece of Lexan, and I'm going to make this in clear. It's easier for me to cut. I'll probably cut it crooked, but I'm cutting it short so the motherboard overhangs so you won't see it if it's crooked. That way I can get the other fan in there and the clear will pass light through and maybe look better. So Lowe's closes in an hour. It's 8:55 p.m. and I'm going to book it there and see what I can find. Hello. Lexan, cut. Lowe's does it for you for free. Didn't do my exact measurements, but close enough. So I stuck this over top the other one. Marked all the holes. I think that's it. There you go. This is going to be the longest, crappiest video ever. I'm glad I put the clear thing in there because I found something. The center Zorro is hitting bolts on the plate. If you look in there, I don't know if you can see it, the riser is hitting two of the mounts that the metal plate did. That's why I'm having these weird issues every once in a while. It's no big deal, the motherboard is it, and I have the HDMI plate now mounted. So I got paid yesterday, and I ran to the old Micro Center to buy some cassette tapes. Maxell, low noise, C90, because that's how I roll. And I made the decision that I can either buy groceries or some fans. So here's the fans I bought. I needed reverse blade, reverse flow. They blow out. Now I couldn't get the LCD fans in reverse flow. So that screws up my pitch. So I'm going to put the non-LCD fans in here, blowing down. These suck out. And the other side of the LCD fans for the back plate will go here as normal. Suck out, blow in. The idea with the blow in is it's going to hit this little heat sink here and cool that SOB off because it got hot. And I got to redo my purple wire. I'll have to take that all off and all that good stuff. But first, again, I need to take the board out. Again, whoa. Take the board out one more time. And I went to Rick's Ace Hardware and I spent $20 on those little stupid nylon screws. Yeah. The idea was nuts and bolts and nylon don't conduct electricity. The plastic doesn't, but the metal touching the pins together on the Zorro could cause all sorts of crazy crap. So I got two sizes. They didn't have metric because America, go figure, middle of a redneck town. They don't know what metric is unless you own a Kawasaki, and even then, they have like an M10, which I need M3 in nylon. I need something up here because there's a little flex. Nothing down here, nothing in the middle, but right there. New dude mounted, new hole drilled. You can see it's right there. And that should tighten up the case a little bit. I got one more to do on the back side. Oh yeah, that's going to give it the rigidity. I still need one back here though. So welcome back to 10 hours later. I got nylon screws that are lower than the pegs. And I made sure I put all the screws back in the pegs so I would lose them. You'll notice we have 9 fans now. 3 LCDs on the top in reverse flow. 3 LCDs and 3 LCDs on the bottom blowing downward. So each of these have a LCD screen that can display movies or animated GIFs or still pictures or motion JPEGs or whatever you want. The fans on the top here are reverse blade, so they blow inward. Those suck out, they suck out. And they don't have the same controller. So luckily I Amazoned a controller before I did all the Lian Li crap, and I used that one. And it came with a remote where I can customize it. And it's purple. Ooh. So what do we got? We got Make Amiga Great Again. We got a box of fried chicken. And we got the Pi Amiga chick with her lips on the Raspberry Pi. So we have Make Amiga Great Again, a box of fried chicken, and the bowling ball animation. Down the bottom we have Make Amiga Great Again hat. I don't know why I doubled it. It was supposed to be something different. And the ROM Kickstart 3.1 screen, and then the Dr. Chris and the Great Restoration. It's just some animations. I can change them on the fly. The purple board has done extremely well here. It has been expensive. I have listened to your criticisms in my endeavors of case and the naming of it and everything, so I sliced off the T. it just says Amiga 4000. I sliced it right here. Almost touched that power button again like I did last time. Slice the slice the sticker, so it just says Amiga 4000. Doesn't say anything about the Reynolds Case Clinic because I didn't want that on here. I just wanted this to be the most expensive Amiga 4000 case. Now, yep, I have the purple 4091, which would look great in here, but until I can do something with the rear hatch there, it's literally just taped in. And the wire holding the damn riser card, because there was no bracketry made for it, it is what it is, and I'm happy with what I have created. And thank you, Mr. Reynolds Case Clinic, for the back. There was some issues, but I'll chalk it up to a learning curve. It's just a very expensive learning curve and inconvenient for me. I could have sent it all back to Hungary, but at $250 a round for shipping, regardless of you pay one side, I pay another, it's still just a long time, and what I've created here does fine for me. This will now live probably next to where the 3000 is or something. I'll put the BBS machine over on the other side for now because it's just got some new friends in it. Just gotta move over. So that's all I got on the world's most expensive Amiga 4000 custom case. It wasn't perfect, but it turned out to be pretty cool. Future plans include the 4091 SCSI. I don't know where I'm going to put a drive, but maybe like a Zulu or something. However, the onboard 3660 seems to work very well. I'm planning to add a real 060. I was going to do a water block with the little light up thing, but the HDMI won't allow me. So I went with the cheaper alternative of just some more fans blowing in. Keep this Xylinx cool. These will exhaust, and it's just fluff. And it is a real Amiga 4000D, and it's all brand new, from the 3660 to the RAM to the entire board, the riser and the IC. I have to get all that stuff set up, many things to do, and I'm extremely grateful to even have the opportunity to do this. So thank you guys for coming along on this super long video for me, and I hope it's edited short enough for you to maintain your interest. That's all I got for now. Until next time. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something.
What do you know from funny, you bastard?